I wanted to press record right away because what you said is just a beautiful, simple statement, which is I'm making music all day. I'm writing emails and I'm making music all day. And you said it in such a way where it's like maybe to some people, they haven't gotten into that daily flow and the Zen.
Yeah.
You don't treat it like such a big thing. That's just like your everyday thing. You write some emails, you make some music, right?
2 years ago, I thought, oh wow, that's that kind of music thing I want to do, and that's my passion, my dream. And now it feels like a normal job in a way, which I just kind of got used to the mundane reality of it. That's a
Well,
good thing.
that's what it is. If you treat it as a mundane thing, you actually increase the chances of doing it in a way. It's not about like stress of like, oh, I don't want to email people.
Like, I don't think about, oh, what will they think? I'm not a real composer. I haven't done this before, or I just sent my email and then on to the next one, right? It's just
You got it dialed in. Dude, I'm so happy to hear that you actually got a real milestone under your belt, a real gig. What's the origin story there?
Well, first of all, I feel like it's a milestone, and it's because it's the first. It's the first final. Felt like, wow, it's amazing. My work, it was like on air. It's public. Since then, I've had 2 more, and then they also feel great. But
So
the
you've had
first
3
one feels,
finals.
2 of which have been released, and the third one is actually a UI sound design job for a doorbell system.
Are you seeing the 10% final rate that everyone always talks about?
Yeah,
So
I
have you
was.
demoed like 30 times?
Depends on when I start counting, right?
Tell me like what your average sort of situation looks like. Are you trying to get people on a Zoom call when you write an email? Are you getting on those Zoom calls, or are people just sending you demos after hearing your stuff? Because your music is really good. It makes an impression. So I'm just curious, like, how did those demos come about? Never mind the finals, because the finals come if you get the demo, but how did the demos come about?
To be honest, these days, like the last month or 2, I did not write too many emails because I was actually busy making music. There were a couple of projects back to back, and then a week has passed and I haven't sent any email. But on the other hand, that's also a good thing, right?
You beg people to get the first demo, and then when you send the quality is so good of that demo that you don't have to beg them so hard anymore. They will come back to you because they'll be like, oh man, every time I email this guy, good stuff happens, right?
Yeah, I guess that's like the ideal. But I feel like, all right, now I kind of gotta sit down and do some more emailing, and I have done this like the last week or 2. In the case of my first final, it happened that I just emailed this guy. He didn't reply till I just got an email saying, "Hi, how's it going? I've got this project. Do you have anything like this reference?" So it basically was a pull. That wasn't the project that went final. But after that, I was clearly like on his mind, or probably in his email list. And he's just, kept sending those music briefs.
Yeah. That's why I always say it's not a sprint. It's a true marathon, because the
really
you plan today, they don't bloom for another 3 to 4 months or whatever. That's why you just got to get mechanical about it.
And with that particular contact, I've never had a meeting. Like we never really talked. It's all over email. It works. And I have the other final that's out. It's a very different contact. So with them, I've had plenty of meetings. There's a lot of like personal interaction here and there, which is also nice. It's just different.
So do you have like first email that you always use, and then do you have like a sort of a second, third thing that you use, or do you write them live every time?
I would say, hi, blah, blah, blah. And then I would think about an intro that I would usually tailor. So I would research the person, make it personal, and that actually can take a bit of time.
I think in your case, I would definitely focus on it, because your music is so crafty that if you catch the right person, for instance, someone who does enjoy a certain style of music, and maybe you're able to find that out, like triangulate a music house person or a person that a production company. It doesn't matter. Like on
Yeah.
this side of the industry, because they all talk to each other. And then let's say you share a favorite artist in common. And then you're like, well, I can actually do that because that's the sound that I love. That's
Should try
amazing,
that.
right? That's a good trick right there, right?
And I think people they sniff out like
They sniff
they
out.
don't wanna get a mass email really.
No,
Like so
no.
I try to not make a write this anything
Yeah.
generic. There's something that I got from Matteo and it helped me in my mindset, which is just write emails until they say no. Keep writing till you get an answer. If they don't say no,
Yeah.
there's no reason to stop reaching out,
There's no
really.
reason to stop. Mateo's really good at that. I think that you have to just adopt a mindset of being proud of your craft and saying, I'm going to keep showing you what
Yeah.
I do until I hear back from you. Because I have nothing to be ashamed of. I'm not trying to
No.
put a fast one over you. I'm not trying to sell you some bullshit. I take pride in my stuff and I want to do something like this for you. And that's what keeps me motivated to like keep hounding someone. It's like, hey, you should be writing me. If you knew what kind of goosebumps we're gonna give you, you should be writing me, you know. But I
Yeah,
realize
yeah.
that's not the way it works, obviously.
No.
But the funny thing is, very often the people who don't reply to you once they've had a chance to work with you, you know, like they're gonna be like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
can't wait to reach out to Ivo on this," right? And then what are you seeing as far as like demo fees and finals?
So, well, there, I mean, as you know, there are different, basically different versions. So one is the project I have been talking about, which basically has been a pull. They asked for music in my backlog catalog, which
Yep.
might fit, and there's no demo budget. Then I might have a look if I have something, or I even might make something if I have the time.
Which is another
Um,
trick, by the way. Let's say that you have nothing on your calendar and they send you a reference and you're like, oh, I could knock this out.
yeah, for sure.
That's a great, because then they're like, what? That sounds like the reference. You had that in the catalog and you're like, yeah. I got a huge catalog, man. You don't admit to the fact that you made it from scratch, but even if
Yeah,
you don't go for it, now you do have it in your catalog. So it's like,
totally. And it belongs to me, right? Like I can use it however I
because
want
they
to.
didn't pay you a demo fee.
Exactly. So there's the pull. Then there is the situation where I get a demo fee. And this is something like I've seen demo fees between as low as 75 euros
Okay.
up to I think the biggest was maybe 600 euros. And then it also depends a little bit if there's a singer involved that I might have to collaborate with, and then it might be a little bit higher. In that particular project, they actually said, sorry, the budget is really not that great. What do you have in your mind? You know, how can we make this work? Do you have anything in mind? I threw back the ball and said, did you have anything in mind? And then they said, all right, what about 600? And I think the final was maybe $2,000.
Which is actually a decent budget for something that they said is a low budget. To me, that's okay. I mean,
yeah, for sure. As far as final fees, it would range between 1.5K up to, and this is like from one contact, I get these briefs that have very high final fees, which is like 50 grand.
and these are like regular campaigns, or are they like sound branding jobs?
These are regular campaigns. They usually are for like global campaigns of big brands.
50 grand for a composer.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling to me. Really.
That is like the first time I saw that I was wondering, like, are you for real? Like this
I mean, we know that the final fee is normally somewhere between 20 to 30% of the total budget. So that must mean that they're looking at like $250,000 for one campaign if they're going to pay the composer 50. So, you know, it's just like there's no doubt in my mind that if you want to be a craftsperson sitting in your studio, I don't know of any other path where the money is. Because
that's
you
where
know
the
the money is there. Like, you know.
That's where the That's right.
The
for
money
sure.
is there. And I'm just so happy to hear that those briefs are still flying around where it's 50K. Because that's like some 1980s money. You know, that's like some like cocaine budgets, flying to the shoot, flying to the radio session, flying to this, flying everywhere. Things are maybe a little more boring now, but better in a sense that you don't have to leave your house. What's the job that you got most excited about?
I mean, in general, I enjoy working together with other singers because I'm not really a singer. So I do all the production. And when there is a job I can collaborate with a singer I really enjoy working with, and I know the end result will be cool because there's some magic happening between us. That's
I
something.
totally get that because you're like a sculptor and you sculpt around the vocal and there's so many possibilities and it's very fun to sculpt around a really good lead vocal.
Honestly, I have to think of this project that the Porsche demo. That I'm really happy with how this turned out and
Yeah.
how, in that case, Fiona, she sang on it and she just like it just fits so well, the music and the voice.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing for me also, like to know that you're working with other people from the academy, and in a true
Yeah.
sense, it's a community, because you guys got to know each other and now you're doing stuff together. And then the final that you had, KFC, that was Lydia, right?
That was Lydia. Yeah,
A new
also from
student
the
of ours, because I
community.
saw her
Yeah.
posting it also on her socials. Are you reaching out to the German market? Because like I'm a big fan always of tapping into your unique sort of identity and your unique skill set. And you, as a native speaker, and Germany being a huge market, are you using that to your advantage as a freelance composer? Are you reaching out to music houses over there? Are you seeing good traction from that?
I definitely have. I think I basically have like contacted all of them in Germany. Even have met some people in person. Some like I go to Berlin like once a year at least, and then try to meet people. And there I've met some great people, and which resulted in jobs. Yeah,
You're still using Ableton, right?
yeah.
And you're using a sound card, I'm guessing.
Yes, I have a Apollo
Yeah,
interface.
Apollo. And you work on
I
your headphones or on your monitor?
Both. I got myself a new laptop, M1 Mac,
Yeah.
which has proven to be really good because when I travel to Berlin, I'll take my laptop and I can work from there like well.
Thank you so much for doing this, man. I appreciate it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right,
Say
man.
hi to those guys.
Will do. Will do. All
Chat
the
soon.
best. Ciao.
Ciao.